Hi.
Hello.
I don't think so. Dave might be playing and he might not. He said he's on the fence, so I would suggest we wait for him to say whether or not and then go from there. Or we could just start right now. I'm good with that too. I guess I might as well pack a sacred bowl. Jane, I think you appear to be eating, so I assume you're good with holding off for now. While we start, before we start.
I'm eating cereal. It's yummy.
That's good. I'm glad it's yummy. Hey, we have a Dave. Dave,
Hey,
even if you don't want to play, you could just like chill out and listen, or just hang out with us.
Yeah, I'm folding laundry and just kind of hanging out because I have my headset in. I'm on my phone, and Sarah's downstairs prepping bottles, and she's going to be waking them up shortly.
I will consult the earth spirits and then do a recap.
Previously. How's everybody doing tonight?
Debatable. I made a mistake by bringing cereal into this house. Box of Lucky Charms gone in 1.5 days. Boom.
Ooh.
Moving on to Cementos Crunch, which is going down well. And I have 2 more boxes. Well, I have 1 box of each left. Well, I have a full box of whatever. I've got more.
I'm a fan of Honey Nut Cheerios myself.
I need the straight up sugar, man. Dude, Lucky Charms have the unicorn. Oh, Rami, I eat it all. Here, you can drink the sugary milk. I also think I prefer macadamia milk to any other milk. I know. It's so good. It's doesn't have the chalky taste that almond milk has.
Yeah, almond milk is kind of bleh.
I mean, put sugar in anything, it's pretty good, but what? It's good. Soy milk, I can't.
I would fuck with soy milk, but only the vanilla kind.
Vanilla anything is pretty awesome. Ooh, oat milk. Solid choice. For chocolate oat milk, really good.
Never had.
I don't like rice milk and I don't like soy milk, but I do like almond milk. Yeah. Basically, just non-dairy milk out of nuts.
Oh, nuts.
Night's a day to cuddle. Got my big ass sweater on. I'm ready. Oh, fancy! We're matchies! Sort of. I approve. Whoa, that's cool. It's like half the price I spent on mine. Ugh. Oh shit,
Cool.
that's cool. How can you game that way though, man? How can you work that way?
Y'all ready for the recap?
Yeah.
Such as it is.
There we go. Now we're ready for the recap.
So previously, on the Most Secret Thing, y'all had gained access to the Book of the Celestials of Neaedra by brute force, killing the Keeper of the Lock. And you had learned a few things. Among them, that there is a deep stronghold, so-called, also called the False Mertian. Basically a deep space station that was written into this universe by Rone writers prior to the Silence. Well, after the Silence, but prior to this time period, who attempted to bring Celestials into Neaedra to deal with the demons. So you have learned that this stronghold is the location of the gates through which the Celestials were summoned, And your ultimate goal is possibly to force Gideon, Exarch Gideon, one of the planetars who has been summoned here and twisted by the art, to walk back through the gate that summoned him here in order to undo the corruption that has been forced upon him. So as of now, you are still in the library. You have repaired Cam. The Cosmic Archive maintainer does have an open channel now to the library, so he can help you. And yeah. What would you like to do at this point? I imagine you will probably have had a long rest at some point. I'm pretty sure that we RP'd that last session. So
Okay.
feel free to restore yourself up. You also get 15 temp HP from Milavage.
Did we beat all the puzzles? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think possibly like we went on for a while after Mike stopped streaming it.
Okay.
But in the end, you did unlock all of the sides of the dodeca, which is what had sealed up Cam, and he is now able to speak to you.
Can Cam speak to Derillian?
Do you ask Cam if he can speak to Derillian?
Yeah, why not? Do you have open lines of comm?
So this is kind of interesting. When is this like just after you repaired him immediately, or what? Like, do you wait till the next day before you start trying to access him? I'm curious.
I think I'm gonna wait till the next day. Like, you know.
Okay. So like a day passes, and you all a day doesn't pass, more like a long rest period passes. You all spend a night in the dormitories of the Great Library. Gonk, as I recall, went to bed early after embarrassing himself offering a brewery sticker to a recovered alcoholic. But he did learn some useful things, among them that at one end of the station, the Rezeksev Stardock district, there are ships that come and go, some of which may be able to transport you out to the deep stronghold, the deep space station. And in the night, just for fun, everybody please make. Well, I will say, do you just go right to sleep in the dormitory? Do you set watches? Maybe you're too paranoid. I don't know. What do I assume you don't, but anything?
I rest. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty safe.
Yeah. So you like during the course of the night, you do occasionally hear like a distant explosion from outside, as it sounds like the battles that are going on don't pause during the night cycle. But the night is also kind of like the station is in orbit around the gas giant, so that the day night cycle is kind of caused by the gas giant passing in front of the sun rather than the station rotating. So it's kind of a weird twilight, like bluish green, purpley hued, as there's kind of some refracted sunlight through the atmosphere of the gas giant. And there might be windows in your room, or they might be, holographic illusions somehow to look like they're windows, because it's as you hear these explosions outside now and then, but you never really feel any vibrations. It's only when you like happen to be awake anyway, going to the bathroom or something. They're never loud enough to wake you up. You just kind of hear the distant. It sounds like it's sound dampened sounds of explosive combat going on.
Okay.
And in the morning, after you've all had whatever meals may suffice for you, the library cantina is not the most glorious of food, but it is filling and nutritious. And
Kind of like in the words of Crocodile Dundee, it tastes like shit, but you can live
Yep.
with it.
Belly, they also have like battery packs that are designed specifically for cyborgs, for augmented people, and for warforged. So you have a breakfast jolt if you would like one. And you can see that
Jolt Cola, please.
Jolt Cola. Yeah, it's. I've always kind of thought that Coke Zero, when you drink it at room temperature, tastes like battery acid.
It's the
So,
best one. Not at room
Only when
temperature,
it's.
though.
I agree. Only when it's cold, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
Coke Zero is amazing, but only when cold.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
As like
it's
most soda.
It's battery acid.
Yeah, it's
So-
awful.
So, fuck, where was I? I'm on Coke Zero and battery acid now. In the morning, you can see that since you've repaired Cam, the librarians and the patrons of the library have been, taking full advantage, and there's a long line to talk to him. And as you guys kind of approach, it's kind of early in the morning, and there's already a lineup, and you can see the library is kind of a flurry with activity. Since Cam was repaired, it seems to have made a huge difference in how information can be accessed. And you guys are kind of looking at waiting in line for a while, but Milovaj just goes, "This we need not wait," and he signals to second assistant librarian Frothy, who assisted you before, and you guys kind of jump the line as you've.
I have a question, real quick.
Yep.
In my Relto book, didn't I have a version of Cam there as well?
You did. He was either, I believe he was Fugue.
Right. So if we fix this one, like this is the main Cam.
This
we
is
fixed
the
it,
one.
right?
No, this is the one in the library. The main one is in Famine.
Okay, then we got to go fix. All right.
If you would like to fix Cam, that's an elaborate side quest. But first of all, as you guys kind of, the Cam here seems to have the ability to answer simple questions with like a projection of itself he's divided his attention to do, he's still able to help some of the library patrons while he's talking to you, so you're not delaying a whole bunch of people and annoying them all. But basically, Belly, how do you phrase your request to Cam? Because this has plot significance.
Let me unmute myself first. Okay, I guess I ask, Cam, do you have an open line of communication with Derillion?
I do, yes.
Interesting.
You can
I'm not
see
even sure what kinds of questions we could have or ask, but this
the
would be an interesting way for us
holographic
to get
interface that
information.
appears looks like he looks lucid and alert,
Mhm.
and the voice that it produces is completely indistinguishable from an actual humanoid. Like there's no tinniness or weird audio static. It's extremely lifelike and convincing.
Wow. I don't even remember what I would have asked Derillion back in the day. So, yeah, I just was curious and not sure where this plot leads. You guys pull at the thread if you want to. I'm muting myself again.
You were the first to ask about Architect Derillion in 221 years and 6 months,
Brilliant's pretty
18 days. Can I help you with anything? Would you like to find a particular book?
I forget where we were looking for. We were looking for something
Perhaps we
specific.
could find. Perhaps he could help us find a way to get. God, your boyfriend, ex-boyfriend's name escapes me.
Gideon.
Get Gideon back to cross through this gateway and in the least violent way possible.
I thought we agreed that we were going to have to like basically get a starship, capture him, take him to said starship, and drop him through the portal.
Yeah, but that's with the limited knowledge that we had. Why
This
not
is
more
true.
knowledge?
This is true.
Cam kind of computes for a little while as he thinks about this problem. There may be other ways, but what you have suggested will essentially work with the right amount of force. How do you plan to subdue him? Or do you plan to acquire a starship with containment capabilities?
Feminine wild, mostly.
Why not both? Why not temporarily restrain him till we can get him to the containment facility? So we have kind of a backup plan. There are certain groups that contain and secure things to protect us from other devices, and I think maybe we could take an example from them and maybe have a backup.
Cam kind of nods and he looks at you. You speak of the maintainers. Yes, that may work. There are maintainer armatures in Famine which, in sufficient numbers, may be able to erect a containment field around Gideon. This would allow you to transport him to your starship.
Now, Cam, you have a high intellect and you can calculate things pretty quickly, yes?
I have over 500 million TEPs.
Okay. So, what exactly are the odds of us pulling this off?
Reasonable. With my help.
I interject. Never tell me the odds.
What I don't quite know what to do with is that once we get him on a ship, what's to say he won't destroy it?
Well, that's what the containment facility is for.
Yes,
So we
but
You would
restrain
need
him.
a ship that can keep him under control for the duration of the transport to your destination.
It
he's
might
very
be expensive, but we can probably afford it.
persistent. We'll have to get there fast. I don't.
There are starships docked at Reziksev with warp capabilities, quantum jumping, jaunt web access.
Hyperdrive.
I just
Warp.
hear words.
Very, very fast means of travel.
Oh, excellent. Yes, that sounds wonderful. We should do that.
Saren looks kind of wary.
Like wary as in
Tired or careful?
Like
Yeah.
something, like you can tell something's like nagging at her. And she's having like an inner debate with herself.
cause her boyfriend's back and there's gonna be trouble. Boyfriend's back.
I fear that he might be quite different. And that I might be arrogant to assume that he would even recognize me after all this time.
Well, of course he's gonna be
Dear
different.
Saren.
He's been through a nightmare. I mean, we've just going to free him.
Yeah,
Milivar-
people
Saren.
think that way.
The trauma.
Milivar
he's going to
speaks up
experience.
and he says, I think you may be thinking at this from the wrong angle. Whether he recognizes you or not and remembers you, that will only matter after we have walked him back through the gate. What he is right now is not reasonable, not him. He does not have full
Yes.
access to his memories, his faculties. Anything he says or does is less than it could or would have been.
What's to say he'll ever be able to access them at all? That's what concerns me.
What's to say what?
He would remember them at all.
If we walk him back through the gate, it should undo everything the art has done to him. If he remembered you before he was brought here, he would remember you then.
Oh, so it would kind of just undo all the horrible things that he's experienced here.
So it is written in the book, and so
Everything's
that
fine
is
on my
that
level.
is the most direct way to accomplish that particular end based on the knowledge we discovered in the book.
Everything's coming.
There are other methods we could still pursue if you wish.
You should have a plan B.
We do need a plan B. Yes. We have the sexy cuffs.
The
unbreakable
manacles.
sexy cuffs. We had
Cam
2 sets we found, right? We had
raises his hand and offers, I have a potential plan B. If you still
So-
plan to use maintainers to contain him, the maintainers may also be equipped with other defensive capabilities, such as electroshock cannons, synaptic pulse waves, electromagnetic pulse generators,
I don't know what any of that is.
disintegration rays,
these are
and
more
petrification rays.
Alexa, stop.
The maintainers have many weapons that could be used to keep him under control long enough to transport him to your destination.
Well then. Oh, like a lightning mage that gives you a shock and knocks you out.
You're not to me.
Well,
So
well,
here's
when we
here's
were younger,
here's the
right?
deal. It seems to me like after all the horrors that we've dealt with, while you're dragging, well, let's be honest, me along, me the insufferable asshole, this should seem like a walk in the park.
I didn't know any of those people. This is different.
What people?
That we have interacted with so far, doing our
Mm.
job, the daily life.
I was thinking more along like the void dragon and the other like skittering horrors and all the other creatures we faced. That this should be
Literal
Yeah.
simpler task.
horrors.
There was some weird ass shit in Cheveru.
Literal eldritch horrors we've faced.
Yeah.
This is your old boyfriend. I realize they're equivalent, but you can make it through.
Don't doubt that. There just might be a moment where he might be a liability, and you should just
Well, then
keep a
I'll just
lookout
kill
for
you.
that.
It'll be fine. Anyway,
That's not
She
even
smiled.
funny.
afterwards.
Would you prefer to be left behind?
Me? Left behind?
Mm-hmm.
I think not.
Well, then it's settled. We're doing this.
What are we doing first? Milavage wants to know.
I think we should have the containment facility set up to bring him to before we actually bring him, rather than bringing him to what we may or may not have.
So by that, do you mean recruiting maintainers with the necessary equipment, or finding a starship with the necessary facility on board?
Both. Why not contact the maintainers and see
Which
if they
first?
can get us a starship that has said facilities?
Tell you what, since it's such a sensitive topic for Siren, why not let her decide? See what she's most comfortable with.
Cam does
Fair.
speak up with one detail. The maintainers do not have starships. It is forbidden.
May they travel on starships?
No.
But there are starships with capabilities sufficient to hold him.
Correct.
So then what we do is we get the maintainers, we get the starship ready, we take the maintainers, we go capture him, we huck him in the starship and fly out. Easy squeezy.
So what does the maintainers do if not to maintain? But they can't be on the ship with us. I'm not
They knock him
following.
out so we can chuck
The
him on ship.
maintainers will erect a defensive field. If you can lure him into the field, they will activate and stun him. You can then bring him into the ship. The stun should last long enough for you to place him securely in a containment vessel. You can then transport him to your destination.
Are there any enchanters here?
Some, yes. Would you like me to call up a staff directory?
Would you please? I have an idea.
He shows you basically a floating window pane, a list of names. It's not very long. There's only like maybe 14 or 15 names on it.
I'll swipe right on the highest qualified one.
Okay.
Actually, no, the highest qualified one, I'll swipe straight up.
Roll a D100.
So, just a thought. I once came across a lovely fellow could
Fuck!
bend magic in ways that I haven't tried. He used a spell that he called Gaius. Do you think something like that would work on him?
Ooh,
It might.
Do any of you
Um,
folks happen to know that spell?
hang on.
What were you looking for again, Mike?
Moment.
An enchanter. Like a good
Right.
one. How do we spell Gaius?
Geas.
Geas. Yeah. You find an enchanter. It is a librarian, the one that Cam recommends you because you're in the library. It's a human woman, heavily cybernetically augmented, but known powerful wizard, specializes in enchantment. She has had the profile that comes up if you kind of skim it a bit. She has a very strong personal philosophy of only ever enchanting objects. She never casts enchantment magic on creatures or beings with a will that might resist it because she has like this philosophical opposition to doing so. But she is a renowned enchanter of objects, and she's extended her life cybernetically, so she's close to 200 years old, and she's got a giant curriculum vitae of all of her enchantment, projects that she's contributed to over the decades.
Excellent.
And there's an option to send her a message or request an appointment.
I'd like to do both.
Okay.
Send her a
What do you?
message requesting an appointment because this is important and I think this will help. I have an idea.
So
and I
you
don't
send
know
her a
what's
message
yet.
requesting an appointment, and you also request an appointment.
Yes,
Okay.
that important.
Make a
Sounds
persuasion
like
check.
midlife.
My character sheet's borked. Hang on. There it goes. No. Hang on, I gotta reset roll 20.
Executive. Wow. Persuasion. Plus 11. Wow. You got a 27. Okay.
Okay.
You hear back from her basically immediately. She's got kind of an amused smile on her face, which is a little bit eerie because the upper half of her face is all made of it looks like a ceramic mask, but that's just her face, and her eyes are both cybernetic and strange shifting gyroscopic pupils with glowing violet
There's a goblin I
circuitry.
met that looks very familiar.
Like that
She
chick from
speaks to you with a kind of a thick accent that reminds you a little bit of your home world. And she says, "Sir, who needs an appointment so dearly? What can I do for you?"
I have an device called an immovable rod.
And device. Interesting.
And he demonstrates, you push the button.
Yes, I am familiar with these objects.
I was wondering if you could enchant a rope that could do the same thing, like a lasso that could do the same thing once it's around a being.
Are you talking about a rope of entangling?
Yeah, but I especially want it to be immovable, so it just can't be broken. If it's possible, it's
Possibly.
It's cool.
Not something that could be done quickly. There may be other ways of accomplishing your goal, though.
I'm listening.
Well, I need to know what your goal is.
Oh, my goal is to basically lasso a very powerful being and Hopefully, in
Must
enough
it be a
time to.
lasso? Are you trying to immobilize them?
Yes,
Are you trying to
I am
render that
exactly trying to
powerless? What?
immobilize a very powerful being.
Okay.
We can cuff him.
In that case, I may have an object that can help that is already ready to go and does not need to be laboriously enchanted for weeks and weeks, which is what it would take for the rope thing.
For fast
It is
forward.
rather expensive, but it is very situational and specific. So they don't come up very often, which is why they cost quite a bit to make. But I happen to have, I think, 2 of them, and they should be in working order. What it will do is fire a ray at the being you intend to capture that will render him particularly weak to paralysis, magic of that kind, or attempts to stun him. And the genius of these devices is that they can be used repeatedly, so that if your attempt fails, you can try again soon without having to wait a full solar cycle for the recharge, as with many magic items. Uh, the cost is it must be attuned to the creature it is being fired at, which takes a minute. So if you can manage to
Distract him?
stay within about 90 feet of this being for 60 seconds without being killed by him and having a continuous line of effect with the device onto him, you will then be able to paralyze him much more easily, which in theory could mean.
Damn it! Sorry, I'm trying to do something. I'm listening though.
So yeah, she's got this lens thing. It's called let me see, what is this thing called? A bunch of different kinds.
Stop it. What's it called?
It is a somatic prism.
Ooh. And how much are these?
I could part with one for 200 platinum.
Both or
200
each?
platinum.
For one.
400 platinum. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Here you go. He reaches into the bag, starts counting. 1, 2,
So you hand
3.
you really? Do you count out to a full 200 platinum?
I have 7,000.
But do you stand there for 200
I
beats
mean, that's
of
kind of
saying?
what you have to do, I guess, technically.
Well, at a certain
In
point,
real
he'll
life.
catch on and
I
start like
assume
counting down like
bags of
fives and
I've
tens.
always kind of assumed bags of holding have like an auto coin sort thing
That'd
where
be
you
cool.
just reach and it's like 50 gold and you get
You like just
50
pouches.
gold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
cool.
produces endless pouches. Because otherwise, who the fuck has time to make all the pouches that all of the money is being carried around in?
So
That's
how they
true.
do that in real life, they're called like little penny things.
Well, it's all done by
So you guys
computers.
don't
and
roll
shit.
your coins?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I was trying to
So
figure out the word.
you pay her 200 platinum and she gives you a somatic prism,
Oh.
which you actually what you're buying 2 of them.
Yes, one in case one for each of for 2 of us in case one of us gets incapacitated.
Okay. They would both have to be attuned separately, so you would have 2 people who would need to survive combat with him for 10 rounds.
Well, that's
With line
fine,
of effect.
but
Okay, just letting you know.
that doubles our odds.
Sure, yeah.
Because if I'm holding one and I go down, unless they get to my body and get it, somebody else is going to have another one that's attuning for the same amount of time.
Well, my
Milova-
concern is that I don't have any attunement slots, Miles. You want me to
These
remove
things do
the
not
holy...
require you to attune to them.
Oh.
They need to be calibrated to the being they're targeting, so attuned in that sense is a minute-long process.
Okay.
So
Kinda
you
like
need
painting
you
a target
don't
with
need
a
to hold
laser.
it. You basically have to use your action every round and have line of effect to the creature for 10 rounds. Milovaj speaks up and he says, I think if we can recruit some help from the maintainers, we should be able to accomplish this without needing to get close to Gideon. We can just get close enough to calibrate the devices while the maintainers keep him under control. Then I can cast paralysis on him and have the ship pick him up. So what we need to arrange beforehand is the ship and the maintainer reinforcements. The enchanter who sold you these things comes down to meet you from a higher floor of the library, and she gives them to you and shows you how to use them. They look kind of like picture like a prism, like you know those like simple glass ones they make to refract light, like one of those, but about 4 times as big, and like the deep kind of aquamarine colored crystalline substance, and it's really heavy and dense, and it has kind of like almost like metal caulking on like the edges of it, so that it's kind of like encased, and one of the edges of it has like a button that you have to hold down, and it emits this kind of faintly visible ray of blue light. And she demonstrates that if you point at something with it, she demonstrates with like this wooden practice target thing. The blue light is almost invisible when it's coming out of the thing, but when you point it at something, that thing that's illuminated suddenly is brilliantly illuminated with sparkling light as if from all directions through the magic of this
I'm
device.
picturing proton packs from Ghostbusters.
I have not seen that, so I cannot confirm, but probably. The thing the handy thing is, although they illuminate the target, so it knows. Well, I mean, the target can assume that it's being targeted by something, but it doesn't uh, give away your position unless the target can pick up the very nearly indiscernible ray of light coming from the thing you're holding. That is, if you're hiding. If you're just standing out in the middle of space and shining your prism at him, he's going to know it's you. But Milovaj basically suggests that with the maintainer reinforcements, you don't really want to have Gideon in your face cutting you with his sword while you're trying to attune a prism to him. That's not going to go well.
Well, which
So,
is why we should distract him perhaps before.
yes.
Maybe that's where I can come in. I mean, if I can't distract a man for 60 seconds, then... Well,
Milovaj gives you a look, and he says, I believe you, Saren, but Gideon is not a man.
maybe. I won't really know until I see him, now will I?
I can tell you that Celestials, I suppose they are men and women and people, but they are
Oh,
not like us,
you're going to
mortals.
you're going to educate me on celestials.
Well, you have this idea of how Gideon will react to your feminine wiles that mystifies me a little.
That is the humor. Perhaps not
Oh,
the
it's
actuality.
humor.
Of course.
What is your actual plan then?
Speak with him.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
And if that fails?
Well, speaking with him alone isn't the plan. The plan is to distract him, so that we can attune to him.
Who will hold the prisms?
Well, not me.
I believe Belly and I are the toughest to hit.
True.
Whoa.
I think I would
I'm
be
not
more
volunteering
useful
you.
to
I
you.
just
I would
made
be
a
more
statement.
useful to you using my magic to aid in battle rather than. But I could hold one if you wish.
I'm just merely pointing out you're hard to hit. Not
Yes, well, I've
not
seen that
naming a
Gonk
target for
fellow
you. Just
also, deflect some things I didn't even dream of deflecting.
What?
No, that monk fellow, Gonk, yes? Hasn't he just dodged and deflected things?
Yeah, Gonk is pretty dexy.
Gulk
Yeah,
can
so, I
keep
mean, what's
things
to say
locked
he's
in
not
place.
better at being uh, slippery than I am? I
No,
mean,
you're
I've
the
been taken out.
slipperiest.
I've been taken out by some spells, and let's be honest, I have no idea what kind of spells this thing has in store for me. Sure, I can take a punch
Yes, you
in for the
do.
rest, but
You have read Gideon's book. You know everything about him.
oh,
Not everything.
oh.
I will say you know enough. Where's this? Did I upload this
Yeah, well, out of
stat block?
character, the second he tries to make me do a wisdom save, I might be borked.
Well, that's why you stand close to Miles.
Yeah, even still, not so good at those. I'm an int and con guy. Everything else is just kind of meh. Oh, and strength.
Hmm. Me hit
Charisma
34.
saves,
I can
not
do
so
a
much.
23 AC with Shield Faith.
I'm 22, but if I'm standing within Belly's cannons, I get up to 24.
Fine, I'll do it, but you guys have to do that thing where you help me out in case I need to be wary of his wisdom saves.
Well, what's the range on
Trying
these
to find the
things?
friggin' stat block.
Like we,
I
like
it,
we're not just running into this
you probably
blind.
what
Let's.
what I'm trying to get to you is you probably don't have to worry about wisdom saves coming from a planetar.
Mm. And
Okay, I
charisma
mean,
saves,
He's gonna try and punch
and
you in the
dex
face
saves.
hard.
okay. I guess
I guess I
I'm having
can
trouble
upload
on
that
how I
stat
should
block.
react because I feel like you're giving us more information than my character would assume about him. And so I'm like, okay, so
Well, you have his book.
Yeah, we literally know everything about him.
So this is what you would know based on the book, Belly. He's immune to thunder damage. He's immune to
Mhm.
non-magical weapon damage, obviously.
Mhm.
He resists lightning and radiant.
Mhm.
He has very strong dexterity and charisma saving throws. His weapons deal radiant damage. He has a few spells that he can cast, but they're mainly offensive in nature or, you know, defensive
Okay.
for himself or utility based. The main thing he does is hit you really hard with his sword.
Oh, well, then I will hopefully be fine. Hopefully. Just,
Hopefully.
I hope he doesn't crit.
Yeah, this is like the time where basically we take the tanks and put them in the back for once.
I crit my pants.
Milavage is concerned and he speaks up. If the tanks are in the back, holding the devices, and Saren is up front relying on speaking to keep him under control for 60 seconds, I do not like the outcome here, the probable outcome. Unless the maintainers are also involved.
Well, I kind of figured that the maintainers would be involved. I mean, obviously, we're going to have to spend some coin here to make this happen. Let's hire who we need to hire and make sure that we're safe as we can. For both him and
You
us.
hire
The
a
maintainers.
starship. The
Well, we gotta
maintainers
hire the
will not.
starship and we gotta hire the maintainers, right?
The maintainers you do not hire. They're robots. They
Oh,
don't
they just help.
accept money. They just help.
Oh,
But you
nice.
have to get to Vaman and get the ones fixed that you need, which is probably pretty easy given everything you know. You have a fixed cam and you have belly and you have, all of your knowledge. But you would have to get to the Vaman district to do that.
Got it.
The other thing you like, so Vaman is at one end of roll up, and Reziksev is at the other end, which is where you would have to hire a ship. So, where do you want to go first?
I still say we need to get the ship ready. So when we catch him, we have somewhere to put him.
Okay. So, Reziksev?
Unless anybody has any other ideas.
Okay. So, Milovaj arranges for some transportation, by which I mean he basically summons a firekeeper taxi cab kind of thing. It's kind of like about the like picture a vehicle the size and shape of one of those double rotored helicopters, like a really big helicopter.
Oh, the
But
Osprey.
it doesn't have helicopter blades. It just floats, and it's kind of like a bus, and it kind of comes down. You come out just outside of the front door of the library, and you can see there's a giant oval courtyard in front of you, and it's just piled with dead Modrons. They're like 13 to 14 feet deep, and there's a staircase, so you're not 5 feet below the surface of the Modron corpses, but you're kind of looking out on a sea of Modron bodies, and you can see there are a few picking among them that are alive or at least animate, and they seem to be like attaching little tags to each of the dead ones. And every now and then, you see, as you look around, you can see one of the ones with a tag on it just kind of flash. There's like a flash of magical light that races over the entire thing and consumes it like it's incinerated, and it just filaments of dust fall. And so like the whole pile, there's a lull going on right now. Obviously, like the whole pile is very gradually being broken down, but there's a whole bunch of them, and there's not very many that are still animate that are attaching tags. And it's kind of, this is the backdrop as this Firekeeper Airbus kind of slowly hovers into view and then sits down in front of you, obstructing your view of the Modron carnage. And then these doors open. Boo, boo, boo. Great library, Narif district. But it's empty. Nobody steps out.
Excellent. Well, our bus is here.
I'll file in.
I just need to know: is there like really shitty radio music or like elevator music
No.
playing?
No. It is silent, except for a very faint kind of thrumming vibration as it lifts you up. And you don't even really feel any inertia. It's creepy. It's like you step into it and you're just like, from all you can feel, it looks like the entire rest of the universe has now started to slide away rather than the thing you're on moving, because you can't feel any movement at all. But you see yourself flying out over the city, and you pass through a cloud of Modrons that just kind of scatters at your approach. And a few other vessels come alongside you and escort you for about 20 to 30 minutes as it takes you to get all the way to the Reziksev district. And you see it approaching kind of as you're looking out the window. You're flying near the middle of the O'Neill cylinder, so the axis is kind of right near where you're flying, and it's just this long straight line of constant lightning, and there's containment kind of rings around it every 100 meters or so, and a few of them are more elaborate with like buildings built into them. And you can see at least one of them. There is a kind of large ring-shaped building surrounding the axis that has a bunch of stained glass windows that are all kind of depicting the same design that looks like basically a bunch of lines converging on, it's hard to tell what, they just kind of it's a radiative pattern of lines, and Milovaj points to it as you're passing, and he says, "I've heard that is called a temple of proximity. Supposedly there is a cult of post-Rone cyborgs here who worship the Axis."
Interesting.
And yeah, you
We'll go
pass a
back and
few
murder them
such
later.
temples. Well, that do you say that?
No.
Eventually, you come towards Reziksev, and you can see that it's this busy Stardock area, which I will move you to shortly. Where is it? There's so many maps. Oh my god, where is it? There it is. And the Airbus sets you down in the on the edge of one just sector of the district, and where it lets you out, there is this large mosaic that is kind of worked into the metal floor here, and it looks like this complex mandala with Rone writing in
Is this?
kind of
I'm sorry, I missed a part. Did you say this is etched in the floor here?
yes.
Okay.
It's like it's a mandala basically, but there is Rone text in parts of it. And you can see.
I don't know what these symbols say about me, but I see a penis and some angel wings.
You can try to read them if you want.
Yeah, I think I'm going to. Like, it's got my fascination enough that it'll
Yeah.
probably get Miles's fascination as well.
Roll perception or investigation.
Nope. It looks pretty.
If you're trying to roll investigation, you should actually tap into Belly's hurt.
Well, then, actually, I think he's gonna. Can somebody decipher these on the floor? I'm trying to. It's fascinating to look at. But obviously they mean something. But for the life of me, I can't figure it out.
Milovaj kind of.
Let me guess. You see a penis and angel wings, huh?
Well, yeah, the penis is here. The angel wings are here. This is
I was
obviously
kidding. Oh my
temple.
god, Miles, you're a simpleton.
Milovaj wanders in a circle around this large mosaic trying to decipher it, but he looks confused. Or
Mike, I
rather,
like how
he
you're
doesn't.
playing with yourself right now. The GM plus Milovaj filling it in.
Well, yeah, like y'all can drag yourselves onto the map. By the way.
Are they like religious symbols? Could I roll religion?
Yeah, you can try.
That doesn't make me feel like it's gonna work then.
It might. You
Not with an eye.
do see with you're looking for details rather than trying to translate things, but you do see similarities here to something you've seen before, and it is the inscribed helix, the stone sculpture in the museum that you found, the citations of the words of the Watcher.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, chapter and verse references for an old Rone book of prophecy.
I don't have access to your character, Belly.
Do it.
Yeah, if somebody wants to roll with me, I'm trying to try to do what I did before, and maybe like decipher some patterns and maybe see if there's any correlation between like anything we looked at before, and just gonna take a moment to study it.
Yeah, Belly's good at this shit.
There we go. Yeah, Belly, you discern the precise citations, and with your access to the Niagara internet, you look up the relevant verses.
What did I roll? Or what did you roll for me? Yeah.
You got a 19. So I'm adding this to the journal. It's buried in the stuff, but it should be under library records, discoveries, the Watcher's words, and then the words of Niagara. So you have, what will grow? The tree of all things. Who will grow it? The growers. Poison fills the hearts of many. New air enters some. Believe. Books will be your stronghold, and then you will die. Do not trust the children of the burdened one. They will seek comfort in their books. This is the warning of the silence. Do not seek comfort in your books. When the destruction comes, other ages will not save you. The action of the gathered means nothing. The action of the deceived is toiling in vain.
Well, that got dark quickly.
Don't you think that
I
sounds
guess
familiar?
they wrote their own epitaph.
It is from the same book of prophecies that you'd heard read from before, so it would make sense that it sounds familiar.
It really does sound like they wrote their own epitaph, doesn't it?
Milovaj nods grimly.
It's also a pretty strong warning against hubris, if you ask me.
Other than that, you can see there are plenty of people here, thriving and trading. I'm just gonna reveal the whole map. I was originally going to like explore, but nah. Just fucking show everything. Hide areas, reveal areas.
We've still got the Firekeeper wrist pit boys, right?
Yes, sure.
Oh God, what was her name, Cruz?
Keeper Nithya.
Thank you. Miles is going to reach out to Keeper Nithya. And
I didn't think these things had that kind of range.
oh, that's
Yeah,
a good
they're
point.
citywide. They're citywide.
Okay.
All right, yeah, he's going to reach out to Keeper Nithya, and just but he's like the grandfather that doesn't know how to work things. Like he puts it on. He's like, "Is this thing on? Is it recording? Keeper Nithya. Saren, can you help me with this?" And then whenever she comes on, Keeper Nithya.
Saren, you eventually figure out that what Miles is actually doing is basically butt dialing keyboard smashes to Nithya as text messages. Like he's just sending her.
They're going to think that we're aliens.
And eventually, Nithya just calls Miles' little thing, and you see her like this holographic projection of her face show up above his wrist as it projects it in light, and she goes, "Oh, Miles, yes, fire. There you are. Were you trying to contact me?"
Yes. We are looking to hire a starship, and I was wondering if you could point us in the direction of someone.
I have a friend I could refer you to. Sure, if you want to
I may.
give business to one of my friends, that would be nice.
If I can be a bit more direct here, I would like to be honest. We don't know a thing about starships. However, do not try to con us.
Oh, this is Keeper Nithya. We saved her. She's okay.
Yes,
I
but
will say
I hope your
you-
friend doesn't try to con us.
the two of you do know a bit about starships, given that you conducted an interplanetary campaign against the Magisterium. So you don't really know any more about them than, for instance, 21st century Jane would know about.
Yeah.
I don't know, what's a type of motorized vehicle that you know little about?
Tesla.
Motorcycles? Teslas? Like,
Mopeds.
you know, you're aware that they exist, but you're by no means an expert on how they work.
Hover cars.
You've seen
Hoverboard.
them working, so you know they work, but
Hoverboard.
you don't know the science of it.
Segways.
Yeah, Nithya says, I have a friend who's part of the Marul Merchant Marine. They have a fairly good reputation. And Milovaj kind of looks like he's about to speak, and he goes, I also have a contact in the Marul Merchant Marine. So we have two options.
Coincidentally, the same person.
That is unlikely, but they may know each other if they're both of the Marine Corps of the Marul Empire. They likely will know each other. So Nithya sends you the contact information for her contact, whose name is Nick. Just Nick. I don't know. Pick a last name that you think goes well after Nick, and that's his last name. And it shows you a little profile picture, and you see this kind of middle-aged orc with salt and pepper hair and a beard, and he supposedly owns and operates a ship with his nephew, and they sell things and provide various services. And Milovaj's contact is somebody called Trader Jenny. Have you spoken to Trader Jenny yet? I feel like maybe you have, or maybe that was a different group. Jenny is she's a digital hag, so she has a representation of herself at Reziksev that you can deal with and buy things from. And because she's a library contact, you get a discount on her stuff. So she might also know someone. But yeah, when you land in, well, this is after you've landed, obviously, but
I got hot.
so I actually, like, this is technically everyone.
Yes, this is the short I wore on Saturday. Okay, there, I said it.
I does not matter.
Everyone on stream knows. They know about I wear the same black shirt every day.
As a matter of fact, when you kind of approach your nav points for these two people, Trader Jenny and Nick, who's his little personal comm badge in, like, you know, the public internet identifies him as Uncle Nick. They're standing next to each other and talking to each other, and Nick looks like he's smoking something, and Jenny is just like, picture, how do I describe this? Picture like a column of machinery, like a computer dense cylindrical column with a bunch of actuated arms coming out of it, kind of like Doc Ock's arms, but more straight edged with elbows than sinuous and octopusy. And on the end of each of these arms, there's a screen, like a computer monitor, and each one shows a woman's face, the same woman, but from different angles with different lighting. And, you know, in one she has a cybernetic eye, in another one she's completely bald, and in another one, you know, there are piercings on her nose and her eyebrows. Each one of them looks slightly different, but it's all unquestionably the same woman. And there's about 6 or 7 different faces. And as like the screens are kind of moving around on their arms, and like when one of them is speaking, it seems like all of the others are also speaking, but the sound of her voice is only coming from one monitor at a time, and that one kind of moves forward while the other ones kind of lean back a bit and frame it and move and twitch around it. And then when another one starts to speak, that one takes its place.
Okay, well, that should be talk.
And you see she looks like she's talking with Nick about the prices of something called Kurt, as they're, you know, discussing something that there seems to have been some kind of upheaval in currents of some kind near a place called Alder. You don't know anything about it other than that. And
Alderheart?
The Kurt crop has been deeply affected, and Jenny is kind of interested to know everything he knows about this. And as you approach one of Jenny's monitors turns and looks at Milovaj, and you see the face on it kind of light up in recognition. Millie! Wonderful to see you again. And two more monitors turn
It was a weird
towards.
Skype call.
Excuse me. You can see she's still having her conversation with the orc in the background, but it looks like you now have some of her attention as you've approached. And Miles, you can see that like the nav point that Nithya gave you for her contact is literally the guy standing 6 feet away talking to the rest of Nithya's or the rest of Jenny's monitors.
Well, this is convenient. All right. I'm just gonna Leo it up. Just
Wait,
walk
what are you
up.
doing?
Okay.
Okay, walk me up. I stay behind him, kind of freaked the fuck out, honest to God.
You must be the famous
All of
Lady
Jenny's
Jenny
monitors
our friend
turn
Milovash
towards you.
told us about.
I am indeed.
Excellent.
One of her faces comes forward to speak, and this one is the one with the cybernetic eye, and you can see she has like frizzy dreadlocks sprouting from all over her scalp. Her skin is kind of like dark brown. Her eyes, like her non-cybernetic eye, is also dark brown, but the cybernetic one is bright, glowing blue. She says, "I haven't seen you in many years, Milovaj. How have you been?" They exchange a bit of he exchanges some small talk with one of her side monitors while you, Miles, are having the main conversation. She says, "What can I help you with?
Yes.
Do you want to buy something? Do you want to contract someone? Would you like services?"
Actually, we are in need of a containment facility to put on a ship to hold an angry planetar.
Interesting. One of her screens turns over to the orc that she's talking to. She says, "Correct me if I'm wrong, but does your ship not have such a device inside it?" And the orc is kind of puffing on his cigar and goes, "Yeah, I got something like that. That could work. Hello, my name's Nick."
Well, hello, Master.
Comes up and he holds out a hand to shake. He's a normal sized dude, he's like 5'10" and he's got this messy hair that's sprinkled with black and gray, and he's got this blue bandana tied around his head. He goes, my name's Nick. I'm a trader. I can help you with all sorts of stuff. I trade in heavy metals, gemstones, valuable minerals, rare earths, sand, clay, peat, also finished goods, starship furniture, starship construction add-ons, modules and the like, mining equipment, EVA suits of various kinds, clothing for a variety of environments, dense caloric rations in a variety of flavors, makeup and personal toiletries, handheld entertainment systems, and a variety of compatible game prisms, a variety of digital books and electronic devices on which to read them, and rum.
You had me.
Please tell me.
Also, services, renovations, ship refits, small orbit or planet-based construction projects, general physical labor, mercenary work, sex work, that's just my nephew, not me, cluster supercomputing up to 500 billion traversed edges per second at reasonable rates, passage across interplanetary, interstellar, intergalactic, or interplanar distances, and social media consulting.
Please tell me he's got a wacky
inflatable
R2 man right next to him.
He had a whole spiel, and he gave you the whole. It was clearly well rehearsed and well practiced. And when he's done, he just kind of takes a self-satisfied puff of his cigarette.
But do you have propane and propane products?
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure I can get it.
And propane accessories.
Propane and propane accessories, Bobby.
One of Jenny's monitors has already turned towards him and has flashed up what looks like a Wikipedia page on propane, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I know that chemical. I can get that.
Excuse me. Getting old.
Anything in particular we can help you with besides well, what is this planetar you're going after?
I don't know if you've heard of him, Gideon?
I feel like I've heard that name before. Yeah, probably. I think I've heard of him.
Large.
The one that's in this city, right? In Niagara?
Yes, large, angry, celestial being destroying lots of things.
Do you have a way of getting him to Rezeksev, or would we have to take the ship into the city?
We would have to probably take the ship close by, but we are looking at a way to immobilize him to get him to said ship. But I think we want to have it close by. Like, we wouldn't want to have...
That'll be tricky, but we can do that. Rob's a great pilot. Rob's my nephew. He's in the ship right now. He's the one who helps me with lots of stuff. Hey, Rob! He yells up at this. You see now next to this, you didn't realize it was a ship at first because it doesn't really look anything like any kind of ship you've ever seen. It doesn't look like a naval vessel, and it doesn't look like a starship that you're familiar with, Saren and Miles. Nor does it look like the Firekeeper taxi that brought you here. What it looks like is kind of like almost like y'all know what a Borg cube looks like, right?
Yeah.
Picture like one of those, but much smaller and kind of like almost two-dimensional. It's just like an array of boxes that are linked together with tubes and grids and pipes and coils of wire and stuff. And, some of the passages between the boxes are clearly big enough to walk through, but it's just kind of this asymmetrical, boxy cube collection. And Nick bellows over his shoulder, and you see one of the boxes, like a door just kind of appears in it from apparently nothing and just kind of unfolds a little ramp. And then this other orc comes down who is quite a bit bigger than Nick and dressed in like jeans and a t-shirt. And his head is completely bald, and his tusks are like polished, like nail polish, imagine, but for tusks. And they're like bright blue, and the blue of his tusks is the exact same color as his shirt and also his eyes. And he's also wearing like mascara, kind of an eyeshadow to kind of add to the whole look. He's got this whole blue theme going on, and he comes out and he's got this kind of really intense blue stare, and he goes, "What's up?" And
very intense individual.
Nick goes, "Where's that the containment thing for angry outsiders and shit?" And the nephew goes, "It's inside somewhere. I can get it running. You need it?" And Nick goes, "Yeah, go fix it up." And the nephew runs back into the ship. We can get that going probably in the next day or so. Rob's pretty good with a tool. I don't know what tool. He's just good with tools. I handle other stuff.
Well, apparently with the sex work, he's very good with tools.
That too, yeah. Mm-hmm. That like his own tool as well. So I understand. I kind of don't. I'm not really involved in that bit because.
Oh no, understood completely.
He.
Wow.
Bless his heart, he makes a shit ton of money, but it's not something I really want to know anything about. He's my nephew, like, no thanks. He sets his own stuff up.
Understood.
So yeah.
Excellent. Well, how much?
Will he gives you his comm frequency, and he will basically ping you when he's got the containment unit ready, and he shows you like a schematic of it. It's basically this cylindrical force field that is maintained with it's a combination of magic and technology. It's like a technological device that hovers up and down, and then the magic on it is constantly renewed because of the hovering motion, and it is basically keeps. It's designed to keep angry outsiders in check, which outsiders include celestials, devils, demons. It's designed for powerful, scary, immortal shit to keep it under control, and Nick launches into this like long story of why he has it in the first place, which turns out to be, he the Marul Merchant Marine, they're like interplanar traders, so they're actually, he was involved in the same war that you fought in, Miles, against the Magisterium. He was like a supply runner for another, but one of the planets that were on your side, basically, not your enemy. And one of the supplies that they ended up having to run, oddly enough, were demonic prisoners that were captured, and they had to be killed in certain ritual ways to make them not reform in the hells and come back. And they were serving the Magisterium, so that his ship ended up being used to like transport demons to a specific planet where they could be ritually killed without, they would come back and just kill people again from the abyss.
Sounds like
So
my
that's
kind of transport.
Yeah, it's decked out. It was built to contain demons, but he describes all sorts of other shit that it's been used to carry since. He seems to have the way he talks, it seems like he's been active for like decades and decades and decades. It's a little weird. You're not sure how old exactly he is. There's a bit of a kind of a timelessness to him that makes you think he might not be at, all that he might be a bit more than he seems to be, or rather or what he appears to be. But yeah, if you let him ramble, he'll tell you all about war stories of carrying demons back and forth across embattled star systems and stuff.
Yeah, I think at a certain time like on the travel, like he and Miles will just tell war stories the entire way.
Yeah. And Jenny is like, several of her monitors are paying avid attention to anyone who's speaking, and like closed captioning is coming up on one of her on one of her monitors. And at one point, she holds out a screen to you, Miles, and she says, "This entire conversation has been transcribed for the interests of future historians. Do you consent to this? If not, the record will be destroyed."
Sure, why not?
"Thank you very much. Future historians, thank you as well."
I doubt they'll care about us.
And a little one of her monitors kind of unfolds a little extra panel from behind it, and a little slot opens. And as it opens, it's like picture just a floppy disk slot that size. But as it opens, there's just radiant, searing, bright light that you immediately have to cover your eyes, and you hear a little, and then the light cuts off, and as you open your eyes, Miles, there's a little receipt type scrap of paper floating down and lands in your hand, and it's literally just a handwritten note, and it says, "Thanks, bud, a historian from 30 billion years in the future."
It's more disconcerting that somebody read it.
I like that color wall. I've never noticed that before. Is it a backdrop?
Yeah, it's a backdrop.
I got a chrome green screen recently. I'm kind of excited to set it up.
Yeah, it's basically.
Mike appears to have a teal screen.
Yeah, it's cool.
So yeah, you now have a ship on call, on retainer. They're getting their containment thing ready to go. I will say you're rich enough that don't really worry about the payment. Like you set up a deal or whatever. You work at a deal.
50% deposit.
Yeah.
How we do it in the professional world. Dave is coming.
You guys know where there's some treasure, like that you could trade, like the information of where it is. He will accept and trade as useful currency. And is there anything else y'all would like to do while you're in this district? Anything you would like to explore, direction, thing you would like to search for, shopping you would like to do? This is the shopping center of the campaign, literally.
I do have lots of money.
Yeah,
I think I would like to look for some armor if I could.
sure. Any particular flavor?
We're gonna need parental consent to show a child on Twitch.
Oh,
Alternately,
do you have parental consent, Dave, from all parents? Are you eating cereal? Because that's what I was eating earlier.
oh, it's a Mia meatball.
Cool. I
Baby.
would like something that would perhaps give me resistance to slashing damage. How particular are we being? Ah, rice.
Trader Jenny says, I believe that can be arranged.
But can it also be stylish?
It could be as stylish as you wish.
Oh, you know what? I have this shield, and this shield has been useless to me. I would like a different shield that maybe gives me defense against something other than just arrows.
Okay.
Because, well, let's be honest, I haven't faced a lot of arrows lately.
What kind of shield do you have?
I literally have the arrow catching shield. It only gives me +2 to my AC against range attacks.
Yeah. That's yeah. not that useful. Okay. Sarah, what kind of armor are you looking for? Like base, like full plate, half plate?
Let me see here. I think I already have plate. Let me just double check.
And your bonus. What bonus do you want?
I remember skimping on my armor. To get my sword. Okay, let's see here. The armor I have is plate armor +1.
Okay.
That's it.
So you could upgrade it to +2 armor of slashing resistance for with Trader Jenny's discount 15,000 gold. And it would she basically the rope thing that you were asking the enchanter about takes a lot longer because it's weird and custom. But this is like Trader Jenny has access to like magical industrial factories in the home plane, so she can basically time dilate, rapid forge, upgrade your armor for and it's included in the cost. Basically, time warping. Like your armor's being enchanted in another dimension, and it's still taking weeks and weeks, but time dilation is happening so that it's a few moments here.
Oh, the
And
sci-fi world. I changed my mind.
That's part of the price.
That's a big chunk of change, but I'm gonna pay it.
So basically, like you see it, you can see it being designed in this little like character creator window she presents to you on one of her screens.
Yeah.
And so like how you wanted your armor to be stylish, so how do you want it to look?
Yes, black there.
It's
Yes,
kind of
very
like shaped before your eyes with these like, as you gesture or say, like flares of magical energy kind of, and then coalesce into a solid form. And it's kind of a mutable thing that can be shaped constantly until it's as you like it, and then it'll
love it.
like flash produce.
Yeah, I
and you can
completely
see
like
like what looks like hundreds of like tiny articulated metal arms Some of them holding wands, some of them with chalk, and there's magnets and like other ritual materials. They look like they're doing magic on it really, really fast, and like hundreds of little robot arms all doing it at once. And the armor is slowly. You can see the glow of magic visibly brightening as it is hyper fast enchanted before your eyes. And then there is another kind of a slot opens, but this one opens way wider and turns into a window, and the light isn't blinding, but you just see like a pale kind of opaque white doorway, and then the armor kind of slides out of it on a rack right at a chest height, and you kind of like it is your armor that was just worked on, and you didn't even realize until now that it wasn't on your person anymore, but now it's in front of you, and you're not naked or anything. Like you still have your underclothing on, but it seemed like right up until the moment the window opened, you were wearing your armor, and then now suddenly you're not, and your armor is there, visibly enchanted and upgraded.
I don't even seem to notice that my clothes were gone. I'm just like, whoa.
So your armor now is +2, so it gives an additional bonus to your AC, and it gives you resistance to slashing damage.
Ooh, very exciting. Next. Way to pay 15,000 gold. Amazing, worth it. So hard. What do I else? Oh, I have 2,000 platinum.
Yeah, you guys are wealthy AF.
Oh.
For good reason.
Hey, we're adventurers.
Yeah.
Puts a shield down.
Would you like a different shield? Nick asks.
This one isn't terribly useful.
What kind of a shield would you like?
Maybe one that gives me an additional defense against everything, not just, missile attacks.
What armor do you have currently?
I have.
Oh, it's your shield you wanted upgraded. Yeah. Okay.
It's the arrow catching shield. And it is shit. I mean, it's pretty awesome, but it's not good for this campaign.
All right, so there's a few options that Jenny presents to you. You could get just like a raw +2 shield. You get a shield of resistance to a particular damage type. You get a spell guard shield that gives you resistance against magic and spells, say like advantage on your saving throws. You could get a dancing shield that will protect you without you having to hold it, so you can two-hand your weapon if you want. You got some options. There's a sentinel shield that gives you advantage on initiative.
I could use that.
Pretty good.
What's that?
The shield, the sentinel shield. That's actually a fairly basic enchantment that she could add to your shield. For like
my,
1,000 gold.
Oh, that's nothing. Okay. Yeah, that falls in with my defender. Also. Or fighting style protection, rather, not defender. Protection.
Oh, I can't wait till it's my turn.
Oh no, what are you gonna try to get?
So your shield. I'm gonna just.
I like the idea of wearing her hats today. Pedialyte. My husband
Miles. So I have advantage on initiative.
Pedialyte, the hangover cure of millennials everywhere.
And your shield is +2.
Sorry, you can probably hear that. My bad.
my character sheet's moving?
Yeah, I'm adding stuff.
Oh, okay. Like, ah. So we are officially 10 subs away from the Pocky One Chip Challenge. While we're waiting.
What is your armor? Plate armor +1? Okay.
Don't do it, Mike. Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Oh, sorry, Uncle Russ. Don't do the one chip challenge.
I've already committed myself.
Mm.
20 subs.
May
and
you
I'm doing
rest
the
in
One Chip
peace.
Challenge. And I'm lactose. I'm gonna have milk standing by for the burn, but I'm lactose intolerant, so there's gonna be fun there too.
I'm not gonna watch that. I don't want to watch my friend in pain.
Nah, it'll be funny.
Not
You might
even for
throw up.
not even for
comedy,
like pizza.
comedy will happen.
Mm.
Dave's not in the
Comedy
mood to
will
fuck
happen.
around, Miles. Or Russ.
There we go. Okay. So you have a sexy new shield.
Yeah.
What happens to your shield is basically the same like magical robot arms do magic on it, and they inscribe this eye that kind of adds to and amplifies, or rather, highlights the symbol of helm.
Yep.
Helm, right?
Hell.
On your shield, and it kind of like basically adds like an eye around it to stand for extra vigilance. And you like the shield now. It's almost like you get this kind of dim sense when you're holding it. That's like almost like sight and like almost like hearing from another direction at once, but not quite. And you just it gives you advantage on your initiative and advantage on perception checks as well, which is pretty good.
Nice.
So yeah, and that, what did I say that cost?
1,000 gold,
1,000 gold.
and I already marked it off happily.
And yeah, anything else anybody would like to look for?
Because with my Shield of Faith and Belly's cannons, I can get up to a 26 AC.
Yeah, you unhittable assholes.
Yes,
Are you bragging
I would
about
like
that?
something.
Because now I can do 24 with a Shield of Faith.
Nice.
Plus.
You know what Belly's getting.
You never want to fight undead or
Hi.
some shit, guys, and then you're all fucked. If you're standing anywhere near me.
Hi.
Well, increasing damage won't mean shit if they can't get through your AC.
They're gonna
It's fine
hit,
though.
like,
Everything's just gonna have +15 and higher to hit.
Aw, she's so cute.
It's a meatball.
Is there anything you would like to
So-
shop for, Belly?
Yeah, you mentioned something that perked my ears up a little bit. A shield that would help with resistance to magic spells and magic saves.
Yeah. Oh my god. You already have a shield, right?
I do.
Is it a +2 shield?
It's not. It's a +1 shield.
Okay. So you could add magic resistance to that for. What the hell is it called? Oh. Sorry this takes so long. I'm trying to find the item that I was looking at 2 minutes ago. Where the fuck is it? There! Thank you! Ooh. It is very rare. No. Yes, very rare, and it requires attunement. But advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects, and spell attacks have disadvantage against you. That you can get for 25,000 gold.
So tell me what it does one more time.
Yeah, we can wrap up when Belly is done. I mean, you guys can also shop more next session too if you want.
I love shopping.
Shopping, bopping, banana.
Yeah,
fat.
25,000 gold is worth it. But tell me one more time what it does.
There in the chat. You have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects, and spell attacks have disadvantage against you. So spell attacks will literally never hit you unless they get a double nat 20, probably.
I want that, please. And
I will say the last thing before we wrap up. You guys have secured the help of Uncle Nick and his ship.
Is his last name Foles?
Sure.
Is his name Big Dick Nick?
No.
I think you remember
Tricky Nick.
His name is Nicholas.
Okay, fine.
Nicholas
And
Foles.
people call him Nick because...
Big Dickulous Nicholas. Sorry.
I mean, if
That's
you
a
want to
name
contract
for
his nephew for a fun time,
No,
you
so
can. That's an option.
Mike,
But so you have that. The next goal is to get the maintainers and then go after Gideon, basically, and then fly him out to the Deep Citadel. You got your magic as shit. And the last thing I wanted to say is there was that word puzzle. If you guys wanted to find the hidden word, there's an achievement for that.
The puzzle.
I also
Or in the
copied it in
graphics,
wrong.
sorry.
Here, I'm going to. This is the correct. It's this. You've already solved the puzzle. Basically, it's just another part of it. But yeah, so that is where we shall wrap up for today.
Nice.
Thank you for being here, everybody. I enjoy telling this story. I'm glad we got to the Stardock District.
Thanks to
Yeah.
Hilarious for the sub. We got an extra sub that got us to 10 subs. We are 10 away from the 20 for the Pocky One Chip Challenge. Comedy will abound.
Fancy.
What kind of challenge is it?
So the Pocky One Chip Challenge it's literally one tortilla chip.
It comes in a coffin.
Like ridiculously hot.
Oh, don't do that. Don't.
No, I absolutely want to do that. I like hot stuff. And I know that me saying I like hot stuff, I'm still going to suffer, but I think it's going to be funny as shit, and I'm willing to suffer for comedy.
You will suffer for days, but okay.
I will suffer for comedy.
I don't. Why?
Because
You
it's
suffer
funny.
enough.
It'll be funny. I guarantee it'll be funny.
Okay.
I've seen
Straight
my
the
brother
whole
and
thing.
his stepson
And I'm
suffer
lactose
through it.
intolerant, so it's like
Can I
double
talk
comedy.
you out of this? Is there anything I can do to talk you out of this?
No, I'm pretty
Probably
much gonna
not.
do it. I've committed to the bit. I gotta commit to the bit.
Okay.
Side note: Can we have Howla for Nick's last name?
Sure.
What
Nick
is
Howler.
the significance?
It's Spanish for cage.
I mean, he's got an outsider cage in his ship, so
Yep.
maybe.
It's apropos.
Did you like my spiel?
I did. Like, how long did
I
it
had
take?
fun.
It's
I
so
had
comedic
fun
resulting.
writing that. I wanted there to be a long ass list of stuff and then a single syllable end. So there's like blah 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 blah, variety of this and that, and rum. And then it was like services such as blah 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 blah. Also, my nephew's a prostitute. Blah, and social media consulting. I had so much fun with that.
I do have an image problem.
Don't make me laugh. It hurts to cough.
All right, guys. safe. We'll be back tomorrow at 8:30 for Brides of Vecna.
Have fun, guys.
I'm so
Yeah.
happy with the shield.
Guaranteed to ensue.
Yeah, that shield looks really cool.
Well,
Shit's gonna happen.
That's ridiculous. You know he's gonna throw out like the most biggest, baddest motherfucker that's available, right?
Oh,
So
I'm
my-
definitely scaling up the encounter